Hello, I'm Eileen Scanlon and I'm going to talk to you briefly about the research projects that I'm currently doing here at the Open University in Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom. Just a bit about my background. I started life as a physicist and then got very interested in educational research while I was being a school teacher, and then got involved in work on educational development in science education, and eventually became interested in educational technology research. So what I'm going to talk to you about is a few of my current externally funded research projects, tell you something about the range of things I'm interested in, and then make some brief comments about my experience as working as a woman in this field. First project, which is on my slides, is a project called Invisible Witnesses, which has been funded by a UK research centre interested in the representations of science and technology on UK television and how those representations of science and technology impact young people's views about those subjects as a career. I worked with some other researchers there and done some content analysis and focus group work. I'm interested in this area because one of my passions is trying to encourage young people to see the potential of science and technology as careers, particularly girls. The second project I'm going to mention to you, and there are web links on my PowerPoint if you want to find out more about it, also is in the area of science education research. It's called Personal Inquiry, and it's a project where I'm working together with the team at the University of Nottingham on a large funded project looking at a new approach to scripted inquiry learning, which we are trying to apply to the work of young people between the ages of 12 and 14 to encourage them in their work in science by use of new forms of technology-enhanced learning. We're particularly interested in mobile technologies as a way to help young people make transitions between their work in science at school and their experience of science in informal settings, such as museums and external field sites. This project arose from a small European project on mobile learning in informal science settings, which I did with a number of European collaborators, where we explored the potential of mobile learning in these settings. And this new project tries to take forward some of the impressions that we gained from our review of current work in this area into mainstream work in UK schools. One of the approaches that I found particularly helpful in looking at the impact of technology-enhanced learning has been based on an activity theory approach. And this takes me to the fourth project I want to mention to you. Over a number of years, with my colleague Kim Isroff, I've looked at ways of applying activity theory as an analysis framework to try to understand the impact of technology on learning. Finally, to the last two group of projects, you by now will realise that I'm very interested in science education, and one particular aspect of science education is thinking, arguing and discussing your way through complex problems. My last two projects are related to this use of argumentation as a means of developing learning. With some colleagues at London Metropolitan University, I've been working on collaborative argumentation using a software that's been developed called Interlock, and we're looking at ways in which students can use this technology to scaffold their argumentation skills. My most recently funded project called Talk Factory, we're going to take forward some of these ideas of collaborative argumentation and what can be done with technology to scaffold such approaches into a new project looking at primary school children in their science investigations, trying to understand how they can reason their way through to some new insights about the subjects they're studying. In conclusion, I just want to talk about the interdisciplinary challenges in the work that I've been doing. I think the particular thing I find stimulating about educational technology is the opportunity to work in teams of different sorts of expertise. On the project I mentioned in schools, I'm working with psychologists, computer scientists, educational specialists, HCI specialists, and I find educational technology as a very stimulating environment in which to do research, where you have to communicate with people who have perhaps different theoretical frameworks and disciplinary understanding, always with a practical purpose in mind. All my projects are designed to try to make learning better in some way, and also to understand how learning can be made better by the appropriate use of educational technology. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the